Chapter 17, 5:10 a.m. The upended submarine continues to sink slowly but surely. A long, long journey to the bottom of the sea. Lynn and the little lady found the darkness and the salt water closing in on them. But at the very last second, something saved them. Now looks down at them quietly. My head is filled with one giant question. What in the world is this thing? Eek! I see you managed to survive, Detective. Hey, you're... Excuse my appearance. I seem to have lost my body. Oh, and you there. You're the ghost who's been saving Lynn all evening, aren't you? You knew about me all along? Of course. What else would explain these unnatural things happening? If you knew, how come you didn't do anything about it all this time? How come you decided to save us all of a sudden? I thought you wanted to get revenge on us. I don't really know. Please, you gotta tell me. I need to know. Who in the world are you? Sissel, look at you. What happened? I can't hold on to that image of myself any longer. You can't remember who you are? That's right. I came all this way tonight, trying to chase down my lost memory. For quite a bit of tonight, I thought I was you, Sissel. Sissel? My name isn't Sissel. But I bet you remember really soon. Who you are, who I am, too. What? The man in front of me is not me. I'm not even further away from the truth. Or maybe not. Something is stirring in my mind. A memory about to emerge. Do I know this man? Now that I've shed my image of myself, I feel like I'm one step closer to the truth. I wonder if they're white, you know. They've got us good. It's all over for this submarine. The engine room is destroyed. There's a hole in the hull, and it's sinking as we speak. What are you doing here? I thought you had a deal with those people. They betrayed me. I was a fool to trust them. You already have what they want now. Timsic fragment. I didn't know they had it all figured out. You mean they figured out the source of your powers? Yeah. That meteorite's radiation has two effects on living creatures. It gives power and time. If you don't mind, we'd like to hear more. These 10 years, I've been watching that junkyard superintendent do his research. And I think I've kind of got some of it figured out. meteorite's radiation gives spirits special powers, like possessing and manipulating objects, and in my case, swapping objects. Exactly. Apparently, there are individual differences in the powers we get. It seems these powers change as time goes by. They do? Yeah, my powers have changed over these last 10 years. At first, I could only manipulate small living creatures. Now then, how do you suppose we got these powers? It's simple. It is? How then? In a nutshell, we died while exposed to the energy emitted by the meteorite. It's radiation. That's what it does? Or dying while being exposed to the radiation? Or that's what does it, blah. On that day 10 years ago, a fragment of the meteorite pierced my heart, and I died. So of course, I received special powers. Hey, wait a minute. Is that how I got my powers too? You know, you might be right. I'm sure you remember this scene. Aren't the Timsic remnants still right there in that park? At the bottom of the crater? You're right. So that must mean I must have died in the presence of the meteorite's radiation, too. Another effect the meteorite's radiation has on us is that it gives us time. Again, I think this time effect is centered around the theme of death, but it's not all that clear. So the fact that I can return to 4 minutes before a person's death is another effect of that meteorite? One of the characteristics of that meteorite is its ability to replay the moment of death. Replay the moment of death, huh? Ah! This is all so strange and confusing. I can't take it all in. It makes about as much sense to me as anything else. Yeah, strange and confusing. That just about sums up the object that pierced my body that day. Thanks to that meteorite fragment, my very existence is a contradiction. What do you mean? That day, when the fragment pierced my heart, I lost my life. However, because it remained inside of me, that fragment continued to constantly regenerate my body. In other words, my body was continuously cycling between the moments that separated my life and death. What? My body's vital function stopped 10 years ago. My body's time is perpetually stopped at the moment just before death. Time just stopped, huh? So I just simply existed. Not really alive, not really dead. That pretty much sums up these last 10 years for me, ever since that incident in the park. My body hasn't aged a day. My hair hasn't grown an inch. Come to think of it, that old pigeon guy mentioned something. He said he couldn't cut his guy's bodies. Sorry. He couldn't cut this guy's body with the scalpel. So I guess as soon as an incision was made, his whole body would be regenerated. Wow! Before I left this country, I wanted to do one thing. I wanted to get revenge on the people who stole our lives. our lives? As part of the deal, I made those guys promise to cooperate. Cooperate? You mean the kidnapping? It all went fine. I manipulated the Justice Minister and made him issue that execution order. Sorry. But I thought he might call off the execution at the last second. So that's why you wanted his daughter kidnapped. But they kidnapped the wrong girl. Little did I know, they had their own reasons for cooperating with me. Huh? Their objective was to wipe out everybody who had to do with Timsik. Detective Joe was one such person, so they were happy to cooperate. Inspector Cabanella and the junkyard supervisor, they were slated to be wiped out too. And as it turns out, I was one of their targets as well. So they stole my Timsik fragment, and here I am. But they have one more final target. You, detective. Me? If you weren't there in the park that day 10 years ago, I never would have thought of doing something as stupid as taking a hostage. Okay. But I was just a little kid playing in the park. Yeah, I know. Huh? 10 years later, and you'd become a detective looking into Joe's case. Tonight I invited you to a quiet spot on the edge of town. It was a trap, you see. I told you who I was. You never saw my face that day 10 years ago. So of course you didn't recognize me. I took possession of you to make you shoot me. Your subconscious resisted me. Such incredible power. It was the first time I wasn't able to control somebody completely. The aim was off, and the first shot missed the mark. You'll soon find out why and how that happened. The junkyard was equipped with security cameras. I knew you'd be wanted for murder. That was my plan, anyway. But they had other ideas. They simply wanted you wiped out. But then, something threw a big monkey wrench into their scheme. I showed up. I was supposed to meet up with him after that, but then something went wrong. What happened? My body disappeared. Aha! And Inspector White was responsible for that one. A precious marketing chip was in that body. I had to get it back, no matter what. The Inspector caused me no end of trouble. But why were those people targeting me? I never even heard the Timzik meteorite. Because they were looking into the Jode case, they thought you would find out about Timzik sooner or later.